Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Brave the Wild is available on the sportstuff.com and on iTunes. I thank each and every one of you always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a pleasure to talk some hockey with you once again today. And another very, very positive week for the Minnesota Wild. They just weren't undefeated this time around. So they did actually have a pointless game. Oh, no. Yeah, they finally had a pointless game. Yeah, pointless. That sounds kind of funny. But a game without a point. Unfortunately. But, hey, the positive vibes do continue for this club. We're going to review 3 games today. 3. I'm going to cut the show down to 2 segments for today. I'm going to slide there hasn't been much fan interaction this week. And part of that's on me. It's just, it is what it is. And also the Iowa Wild segment, it's just too damn small. So we're gonna slide that into the previous segment to wrap up the show. 2, and of course, like I said, the tall grass ads have been pulled from my shows for the time being, and maybe for good. We'll see what happens with that. Haven't really been able to contact them or anybody else the past week. But I will finally have my mornings back, as my schedule is going to get back to normal here. And that's the end of that conversation. Let's get to the reviews, shall we? Didn't start out too positively because the anger, the frustration, the passion did come out from Minnesota Wild fans throughout this entire state of hockey. Monday, February the 16th, the Minnesota Wild head to Vancouver, British Columbia. And we still hate the Vancouver Canucks. Oh my God, we still hate them. Yeah, without a doubt. All that anger, that dislike, whatever the hell it is, that absolute hatred you have for that franchise, that team, and especially the Sedin sisters. It came out on Monday the 16th, a 3-2 loss in regulation to the Vancouver Canucks. Quite unfortunate there. But again, it's kind of like, what can you do? I mean, you can't win them all. You just wish you could win them all against Vancouver. But at least we've been winning them all against Colorado. They're the other annoying rival that we have. Yeah, but they might be pinned out of the playoff positioning because of the way things are. We'll talk about that more again as we push further into the show. Oh, that third period against Vancouver is so frustrating. I mean, how many of you were just so excited, so confident when Nino Niederreiter netted his 17th goal of the season? Jordan Schroeder continuing to punish his old team with a nice assist to Nino Niederreiter, 17th goal of the year. How many of you were confident when you saw the Wild go up 1-0, like, yep, we're going to beat these guys again. We're going to do it. How many of you were just so confident that we were going to do it? Yeah, my hand's raised. It's up. Yeah. But then after that, it just seemed like the Vancouver Canucks dominated the puck the rest of the night. And I mean, it's just like the Wild could not get their sticks on the puck throughout the evening. It was so damn frustrating. It's just just an unbelievable feeling. Vancouver very, very, very physical. They beat the Wild in hits, 18-7. The Wild couldn't even get shots on goal because the Vancouver Canucks blocked 21 shots. Unbelievable game in that sense. Only one power play per team in this game, and they were both shut down. The Wild won in the faceoff category pretty soundly, 24-17. Yet puck possession, it was hit completely was dominated by the Vancouver Canucks, particularly after the first period. A quiet first period for both teams in general, yet it was one of the more active of the Minnesota Wild, at least the first half or so of the first period. And Vancouver just kind of took over the game, per se. But luckily, Mr. Devin Dubnyk is just such a strong goalie in general that Vancouver didn't exactly take a 4-1 lead or anything, but they took a 3-1 lead. Just frustration just started to take over. Henrik Sedin, Daniel Sundin, Alex Burrows, the top line of Vancouver, they tied things up very early in that second period, and you just knew that was not a good sign. Vancouver dominated the puck the entire second period. Luckily, the Wild did not give up a goal after that. That was the good sign, but unfortunately, the third period belongs to the Vancouver Canucks until the final minutes or so of the game. Oh, the frustration was just off the charts in this one. Lots of smashing back and forth between the teams. Matthew Dumba already feeling the rivalry himself with some very intense hits on the Vancouver Canucks, and he had to receive some as well. Lots of chippiness from this club. Vancouver, again, scoring early in the third period to make it 2-1, and then just halfway through the third, it was 3-1 Vancouver. That whole night, just extremely frustrating for us all. Nino Niederreiter, who was easily the most active Minnesota Wild player in this game, did get his 18th goal of the year, and Schroeder with his second assist of the game and second of the season. Schroeder's adding a lot of his first points of the season. Jordan Schroeder, again, like I said, the former first-round pick, I've said it a million times, of the Vancouver Canucks, stinging his old team, and I couldn't be happier for it. But the good news is Schroeder's overall talents have been popping up now. He's so quick, and he can score goals. He can pass the puck. He's very active offensively, and you're starting to see why he was a prospect in the National Hockey League. Even though he did absolutely nothing in Vancouver, now maybe he's a new Nino Niederreiter, just a much smaller one per se. Because remember how Nino Niederreiter couldn't do jack squat in the New York Islanders. I listened to an old episode just for fun a couple of days ago, and it's like, yeah, Nino Niederreiter had 1 goal in 55 games for the New York Islanders back in his his final season there, when he was a 4th overall pick for that club. 4th overall bleeping pick. Jordan Schroeder, first-round pick for Vancouver, and his stats pretty similar. He played he was like 1 goal in 40 games. It's just complete non-factor with the Vancouver Canucks over his career. But overall, unfortunately, the Canucks, chippy, physical. Every time we had the puck, they were we're raising our sticks, taking them away from us. They were just frustrating us all night. Amazingly, though, that there was only 1 power play per team. You thought it would be power plays all over the place, but the refs swallowed their whistles in this one. And I guess that's okay, because it kind of affected both of us, I suppose. It affected both teams. We both were kind of chipping on each other a little bit. And for the record, it wasn't 1 goal in 30 games or anything, but 9 points in 31 games, 6 points in 25 over the course of his career, his illustrious career with the Vancouver Canucks. Nothing special, but he's definitely been more effective in his short stint with the Minnesota Wild this season. And Jordan Schroeder, a +7. A real positive to the Minnesota Wild this season thus far. 5 points in 12 games. We'll see if that can continue to develop. I sure hope so. And again, +7. And he's got quite a bit of his career ahead of him. That's the other good part. 24 years old. So we shall see, indeed, for this 22nd overall pick in 2009. Former Gopher, Jordan. I keep trying to call him Jay Schroeder, the old Los Angeles Raider quarterback. Yeah, they were the LA Raiders back in the 80s. Oakland Raiders. But the other thing, though, that obviously I have to put into account here before I wrap up this show. Well, 2 things. The minute I saw, I did predict that Eddie Lack was going to be the goalie, because why would they put Ryan Miller out there again when we'd shellacked him? We had absolutely shellacked him, and Eddie Lack had some success against the Minnesota Wild. We were lacking in goals against Eddie Lack when we played Vancouver. And guess what? Eddie Lack was pretty damn good the entire game. Only gave up 2 goals. Didn't face as many shots as we would have liked, but he made some annoyingly good stops in this game. And when I saw him in net, I tweeted out, yeah, this game's not going to be easy at all. This is going to be a very tough game. Why do I have a crappy feeling we're going to lose? And we did. 3-2 loss, and things ended extremely chippy. I can't remember who was hit, but Matt Dumba then, responded to it and started hooking the Vancouver player that made the hit. And things got extremely chippy there. Lots of frustration. The Wild just, it felt like a million chances to score, and we couldn't get the puck on net because they were blocking every damn shot, and they were knocking us off the puck. calls that weren't made, hooks, slashes, cross checks, whatever the hell it is, high sticks. I mean, there was one thing after another in that final stretch, and the final few minutes, the final seconds there, when it felt like we could have had like 1,000 shots on goal, and one of them could probably go in, and we could go to overtime and see what happens. But no, not one of them did, and things got so frustrating, so chippy, that it boiled over. Unfortunately, the Wild did not win the season finale, but the good side of things, we did win the season series with the Vancouver Canucks, so that's good. And our standing in the playoff picture still hanging strong after a couple more games. A lot of people very devastated on this particular night, though, because obviously Vancouver got 2 points, we got 0. That's bad. Calgary made a comeback and won their game, 2 points to 0 for us. And, of course, the Winnipeg Jets. Calgary came back from 3 goals down against the Boston Bruins, by the way, who are, falling apart in the Eastern Conference. That's great. And the wonderful, ultra-talented Edmonton Oilers were beating the Winnipeg Chippy Jets, the other Vancouver team, basically. They're just another Vancouver as far as I'm concerned. They drive me nuts with better goaltending and a much tougher division, unfortunately. Central Division is just so freaking tough. Yeah, it's stronger than the Pacific. But, yeah, they couldn't hold on to their lead against Winnipeg. Winnipeg ended up winning in the shootout. That was extremely frustrating, extremely devastating night for the Wild. Winnipeg, Calgary, Vancouver, all one-upping the Wild. And the LA Kings couldn't hold on to their lead. The LA Kings made a comeback and won their game as well. So that was 4 teams that 2-upped the Wild on this particular night. It was Black Monday for the Wild, and there was no doubt about it. But the good news is, we're still here, baby. We're still here because the Minnesota Wild played continued their Northwest Division reunion, literally, in, British Columbia, and then off to Alberta with Calgary and Edmonton. And the Wild come out with 2 points in each of these games. Unfortunately, in some sense, Calgary wound up with a point because the Wild won this in overtime. I kept thinking we're going to lose this one, and I actually predicted the Wild to lose, but it was another flip-flop type of deal. Last week I predicted the Wild would beat Vancouver and would lose in an overtime period. We'd get a point against Calgary. So it was another flip-flop just like the previous week. The Minnesota Wild beat Calgary outright. We won in regulation in Calgary, again, in the Saddle Dome. That's pretty awesome. And you got to like the attendance in that building. You got to like I love the sea of red, like I always say. I love the colors in that building, and I love the talent of that team. And this is when Justin Fontaine returns again. Like he started to show some signs of who he can be again. Remember how he had a strong season last year, and he even had a hat trick. And then this whole season is like, Justin Fontaine. It's like amazing he's even still on the roster. Like 5 points in like 40 games. Jeez. What the hell happened to him? It's like he's just a defensive guy, just a fourth line kind of a player who can't seem to get anything beyond that. Now he's playing with Charlie Coyle and Thomas Vanek instead of with Granlund. It was Granlund and Vanek. Now it's Charlie Coyle. So Mike Yeo continuing to shift the lines around. Matt Dumba, homecoming. He's a Calgary, Alberta native. And he had a hell of a night. But a lot of familiar faces had a strong game in this one. A lot of familiar faces. Obviously, Devin Dubnyk was unbelievable against that Calgary, intense Calgary onslaught, stopping 35 shots, only giving up 2 goals in the game. Just awesome night again for Devin Dubnyk. Just continuing to do what we know he can do. Mikko Koivu with a goal and an assist. We'll talk about the goal much later. Justin Fontaine, though, reminding us that he's still here with his 5th goal. And a really good pass by Thomas Vanek. Coyle kind of muscling it forward and then off to Vanek. And Fontaine, again, showing that scoring touch and that speed that he does possess to be another one of those guys to help replace or, fill in for Jason Zucker. Doing a good job. Him and Jordan Schroeder together have been helping to fill that role. Both of them undersized guys with some speed and some scoring ability, helping to fill in for the guy we're going to be missing for a long time, Jason Zucker. Matt Dumba with a fierce shot on net. He put it on net, an aggressive shot, and it was a beauty. Put it over the shoulder of Why am I? Jonas Hiller, I'm like blanking here, of Jonas Hiller, a beauty. Placed it just perfectly and very quick release on the shot. His third goal of the season and the homecoming absolutely is what it is. A wonderful night for Matt Dumba, putting a lot of shots on goal, making some nice, intelligent plays in there. He's going to be a mainstay in this league now. He's ready to be an NHLer. He's still raw out there. He's still a very imperfect defenseman, but he is really starting to come of age, and I think a lot of us here in Minnesota very, very happy to have him. He is a huge factor, and he will indeed be a mainstay for the Minnesota Wild at defense, and boy, oh boy, do we need that. As the trade deadline continues to approach, we still need more defensemen, but Matt Dumba, there you go. That's one of the spots that's going to be filled. So congratulations to Matt Dumba for becoming what we were hoping he's going to become, a powerful offensive defenseman. He's definitely heading in that direction. A lot of talent. Jonas Brodin, or excuse me, what am I talking about? Yeah, Jonas Brodin assisting on the one, and Devin Dubnyk. No forwards involved in this one. Dumba just let that thing go from the blue line, and he got it crashed. But, another defenseman to join Jonas Brodin to become one of the top prospects in this team. And then Calgary started putting the puck on net, making it 2-1. Yuri Hudler, who's been there for a while now. Second period, lots of grinded out, boring hockey, just like last time. I was like, yeah, but it's going to be another one of those 2-1 type of games. Hopefully the Wild can hang on, though. Why do I have a feeling it's going to be 2-1? But no, Borma, midway through the third period, ties it up. Wild just could not get the puck out of the zone. The Canucks, the Flames, constantly peppering Devin Dubnyk. And it's like, man, we're going to lose this game, aren't we? But Dubnyk just stopped him time and time again, and the Wild were making some nice stops, getting the puck back. It just was not going to be Vancouver all over again this time around because the Wild were not allowing the Calgary Flames to bake the great shots that they potentially could have had, because this time, instead of 7 blocks in Vancouver, they had 21 against Calgary. Calgary, very similar to Vancouver, but the Wild matched it this time around with the physical play, the blocking, and such, putting their bodies on the line. Otherwise, the Calgary Flames might have had like 50 shots on goal in this game. It was scary, and they probably would have won like 6-3. But luckily, the Wild survived, went to overtime, and I just scared to death. Yeah, Calgary, they've been peppering Dubnyk all night. They're going to score. But it seemed like almost immediately, Koivu, after getting the Coyle was fed forward, of course, by Scandella. Koivu with a double fake backhand shot from about 15 feet away. Wow. I mean, Koivu has just been playing unbelievable hockey. 9th goal of the season, an overtime thrilling winner, and Mikko Koivu ultimately going Jarome Iginla on the Calgary Flames, because how many times did Jarome Iginla do this to the Wild? We survived, go to overtime against the Flames, and Jarome Iginla would score the overtime winner, regardless if it was in the Settle Dome or in the XL Energy Center. Time and time again, Jarome Iginla. It was always the same guy for those Calgary Flames beating the Wild in overtime, and it left us pissed off. But this time it was Mikko Koivu. What a great play, too. I mean, those fake backhands he made, he faked twice, got the players on the ground to move. They were moving, they were going to block his shot, they're going to swallow it right up. But no, they're just sliding out of the way now because Koivu faked it so nicely. Next thing you know, whoop! I mean, you'd think that, it's not that hard to stop, but whatever it is, it's like a knuckleball changeup. If he was a pitcher, that's basically what kind of shot that was from Mikko Koivu. I mean, Hiller was like, okay, I got it. What? I don't got it. I guess we just lost the game, didn't we? Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Hiller. And the Wild escaped Calgary, Alberta with a thrilling win. And I don't feel so bad giving the Calgary Flames a point in this case, even though you'd think I should feel bad, because they're in the top 3 in the Pacific Division, so it doesn't hurt me as much if they were in the wild card standings. And I know they might be bumped down there, and you don't want them to have that extra point, but it doesn't hurt me as much right now as it would giving it to, say, a Winnipeg, a Los Angeles, San Jose team like that right now. I kind of think Calgary might end up in the top 3 there, and I kind of hope they do. That way I don't have to root against them as much, because they're my second favorite team in the NHL. I'm not a gigantic Calgary fan because they're in our division forever, but and they don't exactly have the sexiest team ever. They're just winning games. They're not like the old '89 Flames where they had like 1 million stars in that team. They were kind of like the Penguins before the Penguins were the Penguins, just about. So there it is, a team that they should have stars because they've had the number one pick like 15 times, like the Chicago Blackhawks did when they sucked the entire late half of the 90s and the whole first half of the 2000s. I mean, they sucked so hard. You think, the Chicago Blackhawks, that they're going to have a ton of great prospects, and oh gosh darn it, they did have a ton of great prospects, and now they're one of the dynasties of hockey in modern days. There's at least two of them, Chicago and Los Angeles right now. I kept thinking Boston was going to be another, but I don't think so. Edmonton Oilers, though, with all their number one draft picks, regardless of who they have, regardless how talented a few of those players are, they suck. Yeah, I mean, they suck, and we'll take it. Like they say, if the engine's grinding and it needs some oil, just play the Oilers, and there it is. The Wild played the Oilers, and Devin Dubnyk got his fifth shutout with the Wild, sixth in the season because he did get one with the Arizona Coyotes earlier in the season. 4-0 Wild dominated the whole game. It's like they were still, and the good news is, they were still probably focused on just how freaking frustrating the Vancouver and Calgary games were. They had to really work their ass off in those games. They still didn't beat Vancouver because Vancouver just outworked them and they out-sheeped them as well. Surprise, surprise in that one. But they just outworked, they survived. They worked harder against the Calgary Flames and survived it, and they brought the same mentality into Edmonton because they were not about to let the fans in Rexall Place, beat the Minnesota Wild. And guess what? The Wild just rolled right over this team in every facet except the hits. It seems like we're always way down on the hits. I don't know what the deal is. We always get about 11 or so, and the other team seems to get like 20. That's interesting, and the Edmonton Oilers dominated in the face-off category as well. Yet we dominated the entire game, shots on goal. Edmonton Oilers couldn't even get a shot on goal. We just dominated the whole way. 29-15 in shots on goal. We led in hits as well because we're shutting down any type of scoring chance they had, laying the body on the line. And the Minnesota Wild with just another huge game. How can you not be happy? And Devin Dubnyk made some really nice saves in this game. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Even though he faced 15 shots, there were a few of them were pretty good. I mean, how many times do you usually give up at least 1 or 2 goals when you get 15 shots on goal? It happens pretty often. And sometimes you even lose the game because your goalie might not be very good. Dubnyk he's so amazing right now. 6 shutouts on the season, which is one of the top goalies in all of hockey now already, even though he's only played like part of the season, being the backup in Arizona. 5 shutouts for the Wild. Just wow. I mean, the guy is just unbelievable. Thomas Vanek had a very, very strong game. Thought he was going to score about 3 or 4 times, but just didn't finish. Koivu was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, as was Justin Fontaine. He was everywhere. He was energetic. He was always leading the rush. Almost at a hat trick like he did last year. Jordan Schroeder, again, just showing what he can do. Just a fantastic game for him as well. Parisi had 2 assists in the game. Some nice passes, like centering pass to Fontaine early, and another one later. Mikhail Granlund getting his 16th assist on that 4th goal of the game late in the 3rd period. You figured, okay, we're going to just put the clamps down, yet we score again on this team. It's almost like rubbing it in their face, isn't it? And Jordan Schroeder with a fantastic, just a nice. It looked like they called it a deflection, but it wasn't a deflection. It was more like a one-time, like a wrister type shot on a beautiful feed again by Thomas Vanek. Kind of a tic-tac-toe type of play. Koivu, Vanek, Schroeder, almost like a tic-tac-toe, but not quite as sexy. Not quite as sexy. But Schroeder putting the puck where he needed to. His 3rd goal of the season, and Nino Niederreiter with his 19th goal of the season in this game. Koivu, just another strong game, and I pray to God that he can. If he could just keep playing like this, that would be so nice. I hate it how he'll be playing this well, and then it just vanishes. And then come playoff time, he looks clueless again. Just please, Koivu, keep playing well, please. Even if it doesn't show up in the box scores, just keep being where you need to be defensively, offensively. He's been making so many good defensive plays, taking the puck away and stuff, taking the passing lanes away, the shooting lane away, knocking the puck away at the last second before, it's a really danger zone situation where there's a puck rolling around in the center in front of the net, which anything can happen there. Very bad things can happen. Some, the opponent, obviously, whoever they are, could just basically just one time that thing in there, slam it in there per se. But Koivu always ready. The past 2 or 3 weeks, he has just been playing some phenomenal hockey, about as good as I've ever seen Mikko Koivu play, and he's continuing to be in the Mike Modano Award conversation. So that pretty much is going to wrap up the reviews. A fantastic week for Mikko Koivu yet again. Real positive signs with other young guys who were so quiet early in the year. Like Fontaine was invisible. Granlund, well, he's not quite as on fire as he was when he first came back from the injury, but still, he's been good. Coyle with a few assists this week. Jordan Schroeder, man, he is looking like a player in this league, because now he's not just sticking it to Vancouver anymore. He's playing well against everybody. Real happy with the development of Jordan Schroeder. Hope he can continue, and the Wild so desperately need right now with the injuries and such. And hey, they so desperately need that scoring punch, and they needed it anyway, even if Zucker's in there, because other guys weren't scoring. Like Hoyle wasn't scoring, Granlund wasn't scoring, Holla wasn't scoring, but even Eric Holla actually had a really strong week as well. Johnny on the spot in some plays, making some really nice defense. Nice hustle, knocking the puck away at the last second from whoever they are on the breakaway situations. He's been really, really nice this week as well. Just an overall positive week. Not a whole lot of situations where you're like, man, these guys are clueless. This guy is just killing us out there. I don't get that vibe at all. And Christian Folin, even, who had to fill in last night, called back up from Iowa. I keep trying to say Houston, but from Iowa, because of the injury to Spurgeon. Jared Spurgeon, the previous night in Calgary, unfortunately. He made some nice plays as well, and Wes Walls made a really valuable point, saying it's way healthier for a player like Christian Folin to get sent down to Iowa instead of just rotting in the press box when he's not needed. So sending him down to Iowa for a couple nights, let him continue to keep up in his game and continue his development, just to stay fresh in general, just to stay into it per se, to stick with it, keep playing. Sitting him down is just gonna diminish his abilities per se. He's not going to be as focused, as locked in, sitting in the press box as he would be playing down in Iowa and building some confidence. So there it is, and a strong game by Folin as well. So overall, very nice week for the Wild. Let's wrap things up let's wrap up this segment anyway, with the Mike Modano and James Shepard Memorial, obviously the best player and the worst player of the week. Mike Modano Award, oh my God, it's like it could be 3 people. It could be Koivu, Dubnyk, or Jordan Schroeder. Or actually Fontaine, even more so. I'm going to give it's going to go to... Dubnyk has gotten already like 3 or 4 of them. Koivu is going to get his second straight Mike Modano Award, and I'm going to give a Mike Modano to Justin Fontaine. He's been a godsend to this team. He's been on the team all season and all that, but the way he's been stepping up when so badly needed. Thank you, thank you, Justin Fontaine. Please keep it up, and Schroeder, man, keep it up again, and you'll be getting a Mike Modano Award as well, without a doubt. James Shepard Memorial. It's kind of a toughie in this situation. I'm just going to give it to the Vancouver Canucks for being as cheap as they were. No, I don't know. There really isn't anybody on the team right now that I would say is just killing us out there. At least this past week or so. Maybe Granlund for not really being as involved. I guess I'll give it to him by default, because he's not been as involved this past week as he was the previous couple of weeks. Even Ryan Suter, hey, he was a plus over the course of this week. Scandella's been fantastic. Prosser, I'm not a huge fan of his, but he didn't hurt us. I suppose Granlund for not really factoring in as much as you'd like. He did get an assist in the third and final game of these three, but overall, yeah, not as much. He's not been winning his faceoffs at the percentage that you'd like either. Not as, you just don't really notice him. Or, yeah, I just didn't really notice him this week, where last week I noticed him a lot. So he gets kind of a very quiet James Shepard memorial. There it is. We will wrap up this segment, and we will come back to preview 4 games right after this.
Do you shop on Amazon? Did you know that you can support this podcast just by doing your normal shopping on Amazon? It's really easy to do. Just go to thesportstuff.com and click on one of the many Amazon pictures. Do your normal shopping, and Amazon sees that we referred you, and they give us a percentage. We'd like to thank you in advance for supporting thesportstuff.com, and please use our Amazon link. Now enjoy the rest of the show.
We are going round like Saturn's ring.
We are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2, preview segment. And I guess I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit, but yeah, I can keep it brief. I actually previewed the Dallas game last week because I wasn't sure if I was going to record on Saturday or Sunday. I generally like to record Saturdays if humanly possible for Brave the Wild. I'm going to try to continue to keep these pounding out this way. So I'll make a very brief preview of that Dallas game. It's going to be on NBC Sports, so hopefully they'll be nicer this time around. I think they should be. I think they should be nicer to the Wild now. Realize what a good team we're becoming and what we should have been all damn season if not for the goalie problem. You want to point fingers? Yeah, I think we could point fingers now. Damn it. Come on, Kemper, you should have been better than that. But hey, we'll take it, if Dubnyk's going to be better anyway because of more experience. Dallas Stars come to XL Energy Center. And of course, like I said, we will be on national cable television to host the Dallas Stars, and I think the Wild win this one. We've had wonderful success against them, and we've been playing so doggone well lately. I think it's a 4-2 win for the Wild, of course, in regulation, no kidding. And the Stars, who were kind of surging for a little while, they're playing Detroit Red Wings right now as we speak. That's not going to help their cause either. They're going to have to travel all the way from Dallas, Texas to come up here to St. Paul. Of course, I'm in Golden Valley on the Minneapolis side, but I say here to St. Paul, to the XL Energy Center to play the Wild on a back-to-back situation. I think the Wild definitely win. 4-2 for the Minnesota Wild. Dubnyk's going to give up a couple goals because they're so talented. I mean, they're not. They're not Winnipeg where they're going to score 2. They average about 2 goals a game most of the time. They don't score much, so their defense is so damn good that they win anyway. Teams like that, Columbus and such. So, the Stars score goals, but they give up goals. 4-2, Minnesota. That's a very brief preview of them. Let's move on. That was, of course, Sunday, the 22nd of February. Edmonton, the Edmonton Oilers come to St. Paul on the 24th of February. That's another nice win for the Wild, I think. Another regulation win for the Wild. And if it's not, ouch. That would suck. It's amazing, too, when you think about it, that Jordan Eberle's leading the team in scoring and not Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. But then again, who might I say? Or Jordan Eberle, another fairly significant prospect, but not as big as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. 22nd overall pick in the first round of the 2008 draft. But hey, good on him for playing well this season. Taylor Hall, another, obviously, they have all these prospects and all these guys. Well, they're not even prospects anymore. They're NHL players that are, obviously higher end prospects, but they're just not getting the job done for whatever reason. Or they're the only good players on the team, and the rest of the team is just kind of lackluster, not really what they should be. Not sure really where to go. Their goaltending situation, not so hot either. When the lowest goals against average on the roster is 3.01, that's not good. Fawcett is giving up 3.41. Scrivens, again, the 3.01. And, of course, Richard Bachman in only 2 games has a goals against average over 6. Yeah, we won't be seeing him in there. But then again, watch. If we do, he'll get a shutout on us with our luck, and we'll lose like 3-0. But no, the Wild are going to win. The Wild are going to win 4-1 over the Edmonton Oilers. Another 4-goal night for the Wild. Our offense is going to really start to pick up the pace. You're going to see Schroeder probably score something, assists, goals, whatever. Koivu hopefully will continue what he's been doing. You'll see Parise in the box score in at least one of these 2 games, probably multi-point game for him overall in these 2 games. I mean, it's going to be a nice stat stuffing couple of games here as the schedule's going to get a little bit stiffer as we get later in the week. Just a little bit, at least per se on Thursday. Oh, boy. It doesn't even matter who scores per se. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe we'll see Eric Hollis score. That would be nice. He could use it. But no, Niederreiter, Vanek, you're going to see those types. The usual suspects. You're going to see Niederreiter, Vanek, and who's the other one that I've been talking about? Fontaine. Those guys you're going to see in the box score this week. And, of course, Koivu will factor in as well. No kidding, at least in these 2 games. But then the best team in hockey at this point in time does not come to Xcel Energy Center. They host the Minnesota Wild in Nashville, Tennessee. Philip Forsberg, a prospect the Wild wish they could have had. Mike Ribeiro, who's a veteran, he's playing unbelievably well. Shea Weber, the former blue line mate of star defenseman Ryan Suter, who again still needs to have his minutes reduced a little bit. I'll talk about Koivu with that again in a second too. Another interesting topic brought up on the local radio this week. Shea Weber, 42 points. Roman Josi, another defenseman, also with 42 points in the year. Oh my God. Pierre Laviolette is doing what he does. He goes to a new team. And the first year, they're phenomenal. And they're Stanley Cup contenders. In fact, he won the Stanley Cup with those Hurricanes back in 2006. He, just fantastic. He's and he took the Philadelphia Flyers in his first year to the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll see. I would not be surprised if the Predators went to the Finals, maybe even win the whole thing. I hate saying it. Rene, 34-8 on the season. Goals against average 2.01. Only 3 shutouts, but that just shows how consistent he is. He's not hot and cold where he'll get a shutout one night and give up 3 goals the next. He just gives up 2 goals a game. It's just unbelievable. And his backups are okay. Nothing special. That's the hope you see Carter Hutton in there. That'd be nice. But we won't. We'll see Pekka Rinne in there. Damn it. And we're probably going to lose this one. Unfortunately, I'm going to say the Nashville Predators win this one 3-1. I think the Wild struggle against this defensive team that actually scores goals as well. Dubnyk will be good, but not good enough because the Wild aren't going to be... I don't think the Wild are going to give him goal support. This is going to be a regulation loss for the Wild, so we're going to have another one. But it's going to be another very strong week for the Wild. As I mentioned, we're going to beat both Dallas and Edmonton, so that's 4 points right there. 0 points against the Nashville Predators with all that talent, all that defensive ability, great coaching, everything. Again, a legitimate cup contender. Because they have with the best record in the Western Conference. You never know, though. Somebody might knock them out in the first round. Remember how St. Louis was doing the same thing last year. Chicago Blackhawks took care of business as St. Louis started to screw around late in the season. And then, we saw what happened. Classic St. Louis Blues, great regular season, no postseason. They either lose in the first round with the best record in hockey, or they'll get maybe to the conference finals if they'll try to get there, and then they'll lose again. They still have not been to the Stanley Cup Finals since 1967, I believe. It's just unbelievable. Or was it 1970? But literally 45 or more years ago for the St. Louis Blues getting to the finals. Hopefully for Nashville's sake, it won't be the case for them, and they'll get there this year. Though I could not care less if they make it. I only hope that the Minnesota Wild make it. And Saturday, this is going to make things a little bit tough for me recording the show. Oh boy, because it is a 9 o'clock start, a Mountain Time. I don't know why they're starting that late, but hopefully that's Eastern Time, but it probably isn't. 9 o'clock start in Colorado. Yes, sir. Denver, Colorado. Colorado Avalanche Minnesota Wild have not given up a goal against the Colorado Avalanche yet this season. Kemper had 2 shutouts against them to start out the season, and then Dubnyk recently, another shutout, even though Varlamov was unbelievable that entire night. Just an awesome night for Varlamov in that game. Varlamov, I believe actually is a better way to say it. Just a phenomenal night for him, but the Wild were able to score 2 goals. Dubnyk gave up 0. There it is. Should I pick another shutout? A 4th shutout for the Wild? The Colorado Avalanche in Denver. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for the Wild. No, 2-1 win for the Wild. It's going to be a grinded out game. Varlamov is going to be fantastic, but Dubnyk will be just a little bit better. He'll give up a goal, though. It'll be the first goal scored by the Colorado Avalanche, with the Wild win 2-1 against a team that was surging, and now they're going right back down where they were before, and that's the bottom of the Pacific Division. So I think the Wild do win that one 2-1. It's going to be one of those grinded out type of games. It's not going to be the most fun thing to watch, but the end result will keep us smiling. 6 points for the Wild out of a possible 8. Not bad. Not bad. Maybe we'll end up with 5. Who knows? Maybe we'll lose in a shootout against Colorado or overtime or whatever it is. Who knows? But hopefully, ultimately, the Wild end up with at least 6 points in this big 3 against these 3 teams, and I think they absolutely can. And if the Wild beat Nashville in Nashville, whoa. This team is hardcore legit. But I'm not picking that to happen because I'm just not. Let's take a look at the standings, shall we, at this point in time. Like I said, Nashville, best team in hockey right now, 85 points, leading the Central Division, which is the toughest division in all of hockey. Even better than the Atlantic Division and such. Metropolitan's really strong with the New York Islanders leading the way. Second best record in hockey, at least in total points. Tied with the St. Louis Blues. Minnesota Wild right now with 67 points in 58 games. So they have 2 less games. That's been the excuse for a lot of us Wild fans over the season. 2 less games than Winnipeg and 2 less games than San Jose, who hold the 2 wildcard spots. So that's good. That's a possible 4 points, but maybe we'll just say on average maybe 3 right there, which would put the Wild in the playoffs if that were the case, because we'd have 70 points. Rock and roll. San Jose Sharks have not been playing well. Lou Nanne likes to bring that up every time that he comes on Dan Barreiro and Mackey and Judd. And he does believe they're going to come out. I tend to agree. San Jose is really, really dropping off. I've never been a fan. Never been a fan of that team. I think they're just kind of, they have some talent, but there's just something missing from them. I mean, what it is, I don't know. They're just not winners. I mean, they're just not. I mean, I never see them as a team that's going to go and win a Stanley Cup or is really a dangerous threat to do anything in this league. Yet they always seem to play the Wild well, conveniently. LA Kings, though, who are one notch below the Wild, and I mean just 1 point behind us, yeah, that sucks. They're going to replace the San Jose Sharks, not us, unfortunately. So we still are going to have to beat the Winnipeg Jets at some point. I would not be surprised if it's Minnesota and Los Angeles in those final 2 wildcard spots, which could be extreme threats to anybody in the top 6 positions coming up in the postseason. I think the Wild or the Kings, extreme threats when you have a Devin Dubnyk playing as well as he has. Because if Devin Dubnyk was playing this well in May, the Minnesota Wild would win the Stanley Cup. I'm saying that with pure confidence, man. The Minnesota Wild would win the Stanley Cup if Devin Dubnyk was playing this well in May. I hope he will be. The odds of that kind of slim, but if he is, he'll be the story of the year. He'll be the Conn Smythe winner. He'll be the Jim Druckenmiller of the Minnesota Wild. Jim Druckenmiller, for those of you wondering who the heck that might be, the man who led the San Francisco Giants to the World Series championship this last year. He's a starting pitcher who would come in relief and save the day almost every night. I mean, he was the most durable, the most competitive pitcher that I've seen in the postseason since I don't even know. Maybe Jack Morris's 10-inning shutout, but no, he outdid that as far as I'm concerned. Anytime the Giants needed a guy to come in and save the day, it was him, and he gave up nothing. The guy gave up nothing. And that's who Devin Dubnyk could be for the Wild possibly this postseason. Maybe we'll be the San Francisco Giants of this postseason. I hope so, because so far it's been the LA Kings have been the San Francisco Giants of hockey with their goalie, Jonathan Quick. And obviously just a smart clutch play, and Gaborik being as red hot as he was. Damn it. Much to our chagrin. Gabrick, the same guy that played here years ago. Yeah. But yeah, the other team that might be out, it might not be the Jets, it might be Calgary. Maybe they'll dip down because they're only 1 point ahead of the Wild as well in the final spot in the Pacific Division. Man, what a nice division that would be if the Wild were in that, because we could go all the way up to number 2. We're only 2 points behind the Vancouver Canucks. Number 2 in the Pacific Division. Number 2 in the Central Division, 80 points by the St. Louis Blues. Yeah, pack a lunch, right? I mean, it's just like, whatever. Whatever. If we catch the St. Louis Blues, hey, man, we really are cup contenders if we catch them, because that would mean unbelievable hockey. That means Devin Dubnyk is really leading the way, who's 11-2 on the season. Man, oh man, oh man. And I'm already predicting a regulation loss, but again, if he can outduel Rene over there in Nashville, holy smokes, the Minnesota Wild are legit. Pardon me. That would be so freaking awesome. So let's briefly, and I mean very, very, very briefly, check in on the Iowa Wild and call it a week. Tyler Grayovac leading the way still for the Iowa Wild, and really it's not even close because the next guy is 9 points behind him, 35 points in 52 games. And how about Zach Phillips? Back-to-back weeks with a goal. Hey! Yeah. It's a little bit sad in a sense, but, it just kind of is what it is, isn't it? I mean, it is what it is. When a guy's struggling as much as he is, you're celebrating back-to-back goals, or a goal in back-to-back weeks. But hey, a baby step is a baby step. He needs anything and everything he can get, and there is no doubt about it. Outside of that, Jonathan Blum has been playing all right. Like I said, he's kind of one of those, again, minor league type of guys. Minor league / potential call-up if absolutely needed. Brett Sutter is continuing to produce down there, but not at a super high level. Stefan Veilleux and Stu Bickel are actually on the NHL level right now. 2 physical guys who could play when needed to beat up, to knock some bodies around. Stefan Veilleux has been kind of in and out, and Stu Bickel still yet to see some NHL time with the Wild in his recent call-up. Unfortunately for him, Justin Falk right where he should be, and yeah, he's just not good. Justin Falk only 7 points down there, and he is not even he's not a good defenseman either. I mean, obviously he's not an offensive guy. He's just a physical defenseman, and he sucks. I remember that's who we signed, and we had to settle for him over when we tried to get Willie Mitchell when they threw $4.5 million a year at him. Unbelievable down in Florida. We had to settle for Justin Falk, the snowflake Manitoban native. No offense, Justin, if you're listening, which I highly doubt, but maybe he was bored and wanted to check it out. No offense, but man, I wish you were better. I do. So with that, let's wrap things up. We're going to continue this positive run, and I'm not going to give you any negative predictions per se other than that Nashville game because Devin Dubnyk's been fantastic, and the confidence level of this team has certainly been charged in a huge, giant way. So we'll be back next week. Go Wild. Keep up the good work.